The following is a transcript between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am, originally produced on February 1st, 2021, under the constellation of Aquarius, in the mental week, examining through the third eye chakra. Me. What we talked about at the end of the day before left a lot of things running through my head. I am what things? Me. Well, you explained the location, the sizes, the speeds, the distances, and times, and yet there are still so many doubts. That is to say that in all of the months that we have been speaking, we have destroyed all of the concepts of time, space, reality, perception, through understanding the projections, the mind, and so many visions that are born from it. We have seen how everything we believe about the heavens and the earth is a biological preconception, but now, to understand space, we are basing ourselves on very physical things. I am. Does your heart exist? Me. Yes. I am. It doesn't really exist. Your heart, like every part of your body, is 99% empty. That 1% is matter, which is actually due to the accumulation of polarized energy that is structured in the form of strings of itself vibrating. That is to say that matter, that 1%, is nothing more than an intensive vibration. The magnetic polarity of this energy is what gives the appearance of different charges limiting each other, causing the waves to become particles. And it is the pressure between them that gives the sensation of an organic structure, flexible but contained, which constitutes a tissue that is administered in the form of cells, forming an organ that you call the heart. But what you call heart only exists in the perception of your brain. And yet, there it is, beating, pulsing blood, and giving you life with each beat. Me. That breaks my head. I am. Knowing that things as such do not exist does not diminish the importance of what they are capable of doing. The combination of subtle, imperceptible factors give rise to the formation of wonders. We could say that in terms of creation, entropy is nothing more than the support of centropy. Me. What does that mean? I am. Entropy comes from the word in, within, and tropos, turn, which refers to the fact that things rotate on themselves. This concept implies that due to the unexpected twist, distorted reflection of oneself, confusion occurs. In the cosmic terms, entropy is known as a perpetual characteristic of the universe in which everything tends toward chaos. The basic example would be that when you drop a glass on the floor, it breaks into pieces, and you will never be able to put that back together as it was before. No broken glass will come back together in the shape of a glass. This law of perpetual entropy is one of the laws of thermodynamics, which in the 19th century defined the movements of physics during the Industrial Revolution. However, there is another possible vision, centropy. It defines a joint turn of unity on itself that produces order. Me. In other words, it would go against the idea of the universe expands chaotically towards nonsense, toward nihilism, and on the contrary, it would say that the universe expands, ordering itself more and more the more it separates. I am. The thermodynamic vision of entropic space is nothing more than a limitation of universal perception, when it is so expansive, not only in 3 dimensions, but in 9 dimensions, that the perfect order of its centropic entropy could not be understood. Me. This is getting weirder. I am. It's in Aquarius. What did you expect? Me, so true. So let's see. The universe, from the point of view of the third-dimensional mind, gives the impression that everything is heading toward destruction and distortion. However, from the point of view of other dimensions, the expansion that seems to deteriorate is actually one of the steps toward a new order. Human vision expects the glass that breaks to become a glass again, in a sort of going backwards in time, when for the universe, the broken glass can become glass again, recomposing itself in the future. I am. That's right. They are simple points of view that make you see the universe without meaning or with all the sense. When you understand this, you can see that the expansion of the atoms that make up your body is the same expansion that the stars and the galaxies undergo in the universal expansion. Think of each star, planet, galaxy as your own subatomic particles. Between them, there is 99% empty space, being everything you see in the skies. 1% of the physical aspect of the universe in third dimension, and the rest moves in other dimensions. That distance is real to the dimension that you are in the same way that your heartbeat is real to you. The entropy of the cosmos and the centropy of your biology are mixed by seeing the order of the stars and existence while your body deteriorates over time. Me, paradoxes. I am. And this is because you cannot understand the real movements only by looking at the universe with only one eye from the third dimension. You must open all of your eyes in all dimensions. That is what some have done. Me, aliens? I am. When they realized that the universe worked in the same way as their organic bodies and their microcosm, they recognized something fundamental. The laws of physics are nothing more than a structural perception that allows order in the third dimension. But when you enter the microcosm, the laws disappear. Times and spaces bend, fold into each other, and distance ceases to exist, because the electrons that dance around the protons move so fast that when moving in a specific direction, they can at their time to choose different trajectories at the same time, teleporting. Me, so the movie thing is real. I am, at least on a smaller scale, at the atomic level. This is something common in atoms and subatomic particles. Due to this ability, these particles can in turn travel through time, launch into the future, and return to the past, since time is nothing more than a state of altered vibration. Me, the higher I vibrate, the closer I get to the future, and the more stable and harmonious I am. I am in the present, and the lower I vibrate, I am in the past. I am, and in turn, you move through space. At a high vibration, your capacity for movement and expansion is greater, with which the particles stop being several to actually being one that vibrates at the same time in different tunes, inhibiting all spaces. Me, wow, wait, how? I am. We have always been talking about it. You call it the one, the I am. Me, oh, sure. I am. It is just that understanding him outside of the spiritual is more complicated. Everything that exists in a single being that vibrates so high that it can choose to live all options. So atoms on the side of the galaxy and those on the other side can communicate without having to travel. Me, no need for ships. I am, that's right. And this is the key that many aliens have managed to discover and control. From the third dimension, the thermodynamic laws, the laws of physics make it possible to see the inevitable unity in things. They can only analyze one aspect of it, which is where you live. But to understand the other aspects, you need to locate yourself in your own reality. Me. Sure, that is to say that at an interdimensional level, everything explained yesterday about distances, speeds of light, sizes, etc. is not real, but it is for those of us who are perceiving the cosmic point of view. Like for me, the heart exists, and for an electron, the heart is an illusion. I am a hologram, from the Greek, the writing or letter of the whole. Those who inhabit the worlds of higher vibration have managed to discover that if an atom can be in many places at the same time through the laws of other dimensions, perhaps accessing those dimensions, they could also project themselves in different places and still always be in the same place. Me, that a complete body behaves like an electron. I am. And instead of being an individual considered unigram, a single aspect or letter, to become an individual projected in a hologram, all aspects or letters. To receive this, they had to build a vehicle capable of making all its atoms vibrate at the same speed and direction, that is, something that contains the greatest possible balance in every aspect of their being. Me. And they found it. I am, yes, your own Merkabah. Remember? The structure of two joint tetrahedrons that make up a hexahedron, a cube. Me, the blue cube. In Atlantis, we called it Proticta. I am, this cube allowed every being to be balanced in such a way at an atomic level that it could only be projected to exist in different points in the universe by its intention. Imagine that the Earth is a proton and the Moon an electron. Now, do the same with the Sun being a proton and the Earth being an electron. And keep going, and you will see the solar systems are made up of atoms, and between them molecules, and the distance between the particles is the same on a large scale as it is on a smaller scale. Me. It's what they always exemplify with the two marbles on a soccer field. You place a marble in the center of the field and the other in the public stands, and you will understand the real distance between a proton and an electron, which is the same scale to show the distance from the sun and the earth, though in this case the sun would be exemplified by the soccer ball. I am, and those distances are relative when instead of measuring the universe according to the laws of space, you measure them according to the laws of time. And in these laws of time, each particle finds itself in all possible lines of expression, making them always in the future time, that is, in the time of probabilities and potentialities. It can't just be one thing. It has to be several at the same time. So it is that the Merkabah is not taken with a vehicle through the light, but as a vehicle of light itself. Instead of moving through space, it is projected into the holograms of time. But to achieve this, the particles must be in tune and resonate in the same way. Me. So they need to find the sources of similar vibration to be able to appear from one world to another. I am. They must find themselves. This, in the universe, is understood as the sixth dimension, where all of the patterns are the same, ordered in different ways. In this labyrinth of creation, it is essential to recognize which are the polarized aspects to find the correct particles, the positive and negative of the same particle. Me, creating a wormhole, which is not really a channel that crosses space, but a particle that folds in on itself, expressing itself in another time and space. I am. This is how worlds become interdimensional, and certain planets are parallel worlds to each other. When the intelligent beings of the galaxy began to discover this truth, they drew a stellar map between the parallel polarized worlds, which this type of projection could be made. And they decided to travel to them by building machinery that would allow them to anchor these poles traveling between worlds. Me, pyramids. I am, geometry. Merkaba spears adapted to the minerals of each world. Stargates. Me, it looks like a movie. I am, analyzing the reflections of light from each world. They could see the images of what was happening in them, and depending on the distance of each planet from our sun, they would see the design at the received time. Me, in other words, the intelligent worlds would always be received what happened in the past regarding the distance they are. For this reason, each one would shape their communication and projection vehicles at different times on Earth. I am. The resonant worlds at the same level began to create an intelligent network, a unit of various species from different worlds that made a balanced treaty between the different planets and civilizations, something that you call here confederation. Me, from with, many together, and federated, from the Latin feudus, treaty, of interrelation between various independent parties. That is what we call the Galactic Confederation. I am. And they were the ones who began to open the stellar gates to Earth when it began to vibrate in consciousness. That is, the moment in which the human being, the neurons of the planet, recognized the sky and saw part of it. The moment in which the individual said for the first time, I am, and self-referenced. Me. I was once told that the universe is like a spider web, and that when the world becomes conscious, it begins to vibrate, making the other worlds that vibrate the same way recognize it and turn to it and weave more webs. I am. It is a level of consciousness that attracts others by resonance, and they will not be able to interact until the world resonates with them. Do you remember that time it started? Me. I don't have all the memories, but something is drawn to mind. Sometimes I wrote about this, and it was that time that I heard the name of the earth the first time. I am. Angelusaha. Me, Angelusaha. At least that is what we called it in the Confederation. The planets are named by resonant attunements as their tissue vibrates, and it's the way that we could communicate with them. The moment I heard about this world, there were many conflicts in the sectors where I lived, and the reason why they named it was because of our conflict could affect it. I am, yet it was this very conflict that was called upon by Earth, the one that would allow its evolution. Me. At that time, the northern axis of the Earth stopped pointing at Polaris, and for more than 6,000 or 8,000 years, it passed through the vast constellations of CEPHEUS. I am. In mythology, CEPHEUS was the king of Ethiopia, of the fertile valley of the Euphrates in Iraq and the highlands of Palestine. His wife, Cassiopeia, for her vanity, was punished by the presence of a monster, Cetus, who was going to kill her. But a priest of Amnon told him that the only way to survive would be to give the monster his daughter as an offering, Andromeda. The king agreed, but at the moment when Cetus was about to devour Andromeda, Perseus, the demigod hero, appeared and rescued her, killing the monster with Medusa's head, petrifying it. The king and queen were punished for their sins of greed and vanity. The Greek story comes from the Egyptian traditions and tells the story of those who ruled the world during the rule of this constellation for 8,000 years, around 20,000 years ago. Me, when the children of heaven came to earth, and Nanuki, I am the first to use the portal in contact with humans. CEPHEUS opened his eyes of this world after his eternal earthly sleep. He made him see the stars, and the light within him was seen by all those who live in the heavens, who responded to the call of consciousness. But because Earth was going through a time of dominance and control, they had the response of those who also came to dominate and control them. Me, the children of heaven, Ananuki, came through the portal of CEPHEUS and promoted the evolution of the human, educating and condemning him at the same time. They reigned with the vanity of CEPHEUS and Cassiopeia until the divine grace, Perseus, was it possible to save the minds of men. Andromeda. I am. For 8,000 years, the constellation of CEPHEUS dominated the consciousness of humans through the portals of the first children of heaven who arrived on Earth through the interstellar portals, and his presence defined the future of the world. Me, tell me his story so that I can free myself from his dominance and rule my own destiny. I am. Are you ready to remember where you came from?